He rejected this lady and chose to match with her instead because they lived in the same city. But after they matched and decided to go into the dating stage, she switched up on him and said,
I said, I will say, I said, you're not something my usual like type, somebody I would actually go for.
Her reasons will leave you speechless. Watch till the end to find out why.
Ladies, any questions for him? You ready? Okay, let's head down there. We'll be back. All right, go for it.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah. I'm 31 years old. I'm so sorry. How do you see roles in a relationship, like feminine roles or masculine roles?
Like gender roles and stuff.
Gender roles in a relationship.
I feel like for the most part they're interchangeable. Like I don't mind cooking. Of course I would want my woman to cook too. Most roles are interchangeable, but when it comes to stuff like common sense, like if we're out somewhere and get into a fight, I expect my lady to step behind me. Like I'm gonna, handle business. I wouldn't expect my lady to defend me. But I feel like most roles are interchangeable for the most part. But I provide masculine energy, and I want the same for my lady. I prefer to be feminine, but some roles are interchangeable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
No? All right. Thank you. Okay. Any questions for him here?
When was your last relationship? Why did it end? And what did you learn from it?
So my last relationship was 3 years ago. We pretty much ended. We couldn't be on the same page when it came to certain issues. And what I learned from it is I needed to go to therapy. So that's what helped me be where I am right now.
So you're in therapy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm back into it. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah, if you have one, yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have kids?
Nah, I don't have any kids. Yeah.
What about you?
What about you?
No, I don't have no kids.
Do
What
you
about on there? She has no kids down there either.
Okay. Do you plan on
Come
having?
back to me. Oh, do I plan on having kids? If I find the right person to have kids with, absolutely. I don't believe in having kids outside of marriage.
Gotcha.
So that's why I don't have any kids.
Respect. Yeah. I can continue to ask questions.
No. He tried it. All right. It's time to pop though.
Just the one last question. Just region, like where they from?
Where are they from?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a
yeah.
good one. Let's ask them.
I'm from New York.
You're from New York as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go down over here. All right. And where are you located?
I am from Chicago, but currently I'm in Denver.
Denver.
He
Okay.
did ask a question about kids back there. Let's
Yeah.
ask her as well.
Yeah.
Do you plan on having kids in the future?
If I find the right man, then yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Gotcha.
you.
Uh-uh.
All right. I'll let you sneak in a few in there.
I appreciate you.
Go ahead and pop one of their balloons.
Okay. All right. My bad.
All right. So why was your balloon unpopped?
Yeah, he's fine, for sure. You dress nice. I like your intentionality coming out of here, and I would like to hear more, see more. You were asking questions. I was interested. Ears perked up. So yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And why'd you end up popping her balloon?
Distance.
Yes. I mean, New York is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind traveling, but I prefer something close. It just makes more sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Let's head on back this way. Come on up here with us. I'll have you stand here. I'll have you scoot over there. All right, y'all. Any final questions between the two of you before we determine if there's a match? If you don't have one, that's okay as well.
I'm like trying to think. What part of New York do you live in?
Queens. Yeah.
Oh, so you're like downstate. I'm in Buffalo.
In Buffalo. That's like out of state, but yeah.
Out of
That's
state?
cool, yeah. No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my last question would be, how do you think you can contribute to a relationship, and are you looking for marriage?
I am looking for marriage. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to show how can I contribute. Various ways: emotional intelligence, being supportive. I want to be a father one day too, so I want to actually do things right, so to speak, and conduct myself in a certain manner. So I would contribute just being a team partner, a teammate. There you go, like somebody who's on the same level. Yeah.
How old are you again?
How old? 38.
38. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me ask my final question then. You're good? You're good? Okay. Is it a yes for you for him?
It's a yes.
And is it a yes for you for her?
So yes.
We got a match! I'll take the mic. Go ahead and get your lady. Make some noise for that lady.
This looked like a perfect match, but what you are about to find out from their catch-up will shock you.
Since you two ended up matching, have you gone on a date?
We did the first. Oh well, you.
No, go ahead. Ladies first.
Okay. We did the day of the show. The day of the show, the day we matched, we went on a date, and because I left the next morning at 5, my flight left at 5 in the morning. But I think we were over. The show was over like early enough to where I was just like, I could sleep on the flight. Let's just go on a date. So we did go on a date the day when we were out in Arizona.
Okay. And how was that date for you, Donald?
The day was alright. The day was alright. After the studio, we I met her at her hotel. We went to a plant-based taco spot because she has a plant-based diet, which I found out afterwards when we were off air. And then from there we went to we spent probably like I don't know 30 minutes there, hour. Then we went to this other it's kind of like half of an arcade bar slash. It got a dance floor. It was a vibe though. Played games. We had some drinks, engaged in like good quality conversation and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it was alright.
All right. So I know, Adrian, you said you had to go back the next day after filming.
Yeah.
And Donald, I'm not sure when you went back either, but once you guys went back, were you guys staying in communication? How was all that?
Yeah, we stayed in communication. Yeah, we stayed in communication. We talked on the phone, sent a lot of voice notes back and forth. So we did. We stayed in communication probably up until, well, yeah, up until I guess now.
Okay. So you guys are still talking? It's still going
Oh,
well?
well, I no.
Oh no.
But
Okay.
I mean, just like up until I would say what I think maybe like a week, not even a week. It was a long
Yeah,
time. Like I think we actually like might have actually like spoke to each other.
yeah.
Okay. So you guys just went on that one date when you were in Arizona. Did you ever happen to meet up again after that or no?
Nah.
Because he
You
lives
didn't
in,
get.
he lives downstate in the city, and I live in Buffalo. So we're a little. It's not like we can like meet up like that. Even though we live in the same state, we are a little bit further away from each other. So we haven't met up again since Arizona.
Okay. Why not? What happened?
I
I heard
mean,
Donald laughing first. We got to hear from Donald. Go ahead, Donald. Let's hear
I
it.
would like. I actually would like Donald to speak first.
yeah, I got no problem speaking first. I think it was like a lot of things that happened. We wasn't necessarily in sync. I'm pretty decent, busy person. Same with her, but I feel like our communication styles was necessarily in sync. And then as we're talking more and more to get to know each other, I feel like not that every conversation was like that. Sometimes we had like good, dope quality conversation. Like we spoke like 90 minutes or 2 hours. But I feel like some of the times the conversation was geared towards like, is almost like she was trying to still rule me out, if that makes sense. Where like she was, I don't even know exactly how to articulate it, but I feel like she was not, yeah, allowing things to really like flow like sometimes. So that made me even more resistant to go out my way. Like I already had well, I've spoken to some people like already, like I had it in motion, like I wanted to go to Buffalo and I had spoke to her about it. Not in like great depth, but I told her I wanted to. But just we were in a line sometimes. We just weren't on the same page. So I'm like, yo, listen, if I'm already gonna make this sacrifice and we having these issues like this, that makes me even more reluctant to go like see her. But I was willing to, but then things fell through a few days ago, and I was like, all right, listen, it is what it is. But yeah,
So did you feel like she had walls up? Like you couldn't get past that or what do you
yeah.
think it
So there was what she touched on earlier. Like I do think, and this is no shot at nobody. Obviously, I don't know her situation in depth with the previous partner, but I do think she was, yes, her walls were up, and she was a little bit more like, trauma is a strong word, but it was like borderline, almost like traumatized from the experience, or at least extra guarded, if you would say. So yeah, like I would say certain stuff, like because on air I was like real serious, almost treating it like a job interview. Your brain's going 1,000 miles per hour. But once we got off air, like my silly, jokey side came around. But even like when I would say certain jokes and stuff, she was still like she was. Oh, even like remember when I was gonna like towards the end when we aligned and was like we matched and she was like, where she's from, and she's like, oh, she's from Buffalo, and what about me? I was like, oh, New York City, whatever. And I'm like, oh man, that's practically Buffalo's practically another state. Obviously joking, I know the geography. geography. But she, you saw that look on her face, which obviously I couldn't see at the show because I'm looking at the camera, or whatever. But in hindsight, looking back, I see like she was really on some like, damn, like she was really about to pop
I'll say I'm in Buffalo.
in Buffalo. That's like out of state, but yeah,
Out of
that's cool.
state.
Yeah, nah, I'm joking. Yeah,
Okay.
but like that was kind of
Now,
how things.
Donald.
You said
Now,
what?
Donald.
What was
We had. I'm sorry to cut you
that?
off, but now don't even try that because we had a conversation about that, and I was like, I made it was a joke, and like, because I told you that I went. People from downstate always like to say that Buffalo is not a part of New York
New York.
State,
Yeah,
and I told you that that wasn't me being like, that was like me being joking, like, don't say that.
yeah,
So it wasn't like I was doing that because you lived far away from me.
yeah.
So and we had that conversation. So it wasn't even like yeah, my face was like that because we people from Buffalo or people outside of New York City hear that all the time. That's not even New York State. Like yes, it is. We live in New York
Yeah.
State, so that's why I did that. And we had that conversation. So it's not even that. And I think just to touch on in the part about you saying that. Like I felt like me and you had pretty in-depth conversation. I told you things about myself. And I told you I'm an open book. I've been an open book, right?
Mm,
So I don't think that I had walls up. I was very open. I think what the issue was is
mm,
that because you told me in the last voice note that you sent me that you felt like you were being interrogated. You felt like I was giving you interrogatory questions.
mm,
And I felt like I'm asking the questions that I don't and you said like organic, go with the flow. I'm not a go with the flow person when I'm
mm,
trying to get to know somebody off rip, especially in situations like at this age, my big
mm,
age. I'm going to ask the questions that need to be asked. And then we could talk about what your favorite color is, what your favorite food is, those types of things. I'm not just going with the flow just to get to the point. I'm going to get to the point first because I'm a straight shooter.
yeah.
So, me asking you the questions that I asked you, I felt like you felt like it was interrogatory because when you gave me the answers, the questions that I was asking and you gave me
Mm,
the answers, I told you, I don't like that. That's a
mm,
red flag, da da
mm,
da da, whatever. So, it's not like we didn't have conversations. It's not like when you made a joke, I didn't laugh. I wasn't like sitting with you like light over your face, like, sir, tell me this, and this. Like it wasn't that. Like you act like we didn't have organic conversation. I asked you the questions that needed to be asked,
yeah.
and so I can determine whether or not this is a true match for me. And
Mm,
those are the things that are important to me. And
mm,
that goes back to me being somebody who's intentional about when I meet people and get to know people to see if I'm actually going to want to date them because again, I'm not in a space where I'm just here to I'm just out here. I'm not that's not how I operate and I told you that and me and you weren't aligned on that. Like
yeah.
when you told me that this was the first time that you've ever dated intentionally, that threw me off because I'm like I told you on the phone. I've never dated people
Mm,
without intention. Anytime I date somebody or talk to somebody, it's always to build a relationship. Always. Never in my life. And never in my life have I said, oh, I'm just out here just dating casually, whatever. I don't get to know people and spend my time and energy in people for that reason. And when you told me that, I was like, why now? At like where you are now, like, and I don't, and because I don't operate like that. So I think there was a misalignment there. And I think that kind of translated into other areas when we were having conversation.
When was this
so
said?
go ahead.
You said
No.
that he said that he doesn't date intentionally. Is that what you said?
No, he told me that um up until recently he's never dated intentionally and we had an extensive conversation about that and I had to ask specific questions because I'm like what you mean you ain't never I was like so and I had brought up like his last relationship that he said he was in for 3 years and I said so you were dating her for 3 years and then didn't go into that like with intention like that don't make sense to me because like I feel like after a certain age no matter male or female you should know it shouldn't take you 3 years to figure out whether or not you want to intentionally be with somebody, propose to them, be in a relationship with them, build a life with them type thing. And so when he told me that, I'm like, and then he said he had to heal, do his thing through therapy, blah, blah, blah. And then he started coming back when then after that, he got into the dating world and decided to start dating intentionally. And I could see that if we were 22, 23, maybe, but not at 30. I'm 34, he's 38, 39. I don't know. I don't understand it in general. So when he told me that again, but that was like towards the end of like before like I was like, yeah, this is not a match for me. I think that, but that specifically when he told me that, I was like, I don't know. I had to sit on it and I was like, yeah, that don't sit right with me.
Can I ask you both?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do you think you're both ready for a serious relationship?
Who you want to answer first?
Go ahead, Donald.
You can go. You go first. No.
Exactly like what I said on the show. Like my mindset shifted, so that's something that I was going to follow up with her, to answer her question. I have no shame in saying that I didn't have that mindset. The mindset that I have now, I didn't have that mindset 4 or 5 years ago. So I just went into the relationship kind of like almost blind. Like there was not no plan. There wasn't. I just was working on what I was working on, focus on my career, focus on our other things. Kind of just went into the relationship and just kept flowing. But prior to coming to the show, years in advance, I did, like I said, therapy, like I spoke to about, and I briefly touched on the show. And I did other things that put me in position where, like, okay, now I feel like I'm ready. Now I can actually be the husband, the father, all the stuff like that. So that's why I feel like I'm ready, because like my mindset is different. So intention doesn't has nothing to do with age. Intention is nothing. You could be there's dudes out here 50 years old still out here slinging meat left and right, and with a woman, without a woman, it has nothing to do with age. It's a
That's
mindset
true.
shift. So you being 18, 45, or nothing has nothing to do with it. It's a mindset like, okay, now I want a wife. I want children. And until you have that mindset, you're going to move willy-nilly because you don't care. But if you have that mindset, then you move accordingly. And so prior to coming to that show, well before, it wasn't recent. I started therapy 3, 4 years ago. So that started the process of putting me in the direction to being ready for relationships. So even when I got back into dating, from that point I got into dating, I went into it like, okay, now I am intentional. That wasn't how I was before, but that's how I've been for a few years now.
Okay. And what about for yourself?
Um, I feel like I feel like I've always been ready for a serious relationship. I think growing through, like going through growing phases, like you grow with people and, as you go through life or whatever, right? I don't think I've ever not been ready for a serious relationship. I think that I'm more secure now and ready to be not just in a relationship, but to be married because I've done the work to know exactly what it is that I want, what it is that I'm ready to provide, and how I can contribute to a marriage as a wife. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I think that's why I'm prepared. But I also feel like because I feel that way, I'm very particular. I'm very, very much, I have my heart yeses and my heart knows. And because I have my heart yeses and my heart knows, I'm not just willing to settle for anything if it's not exactly what it is that I want, because I've done the work to
Okay.
be where I am now, and I'm
Mm.
prepared to contribute to marriage, not just a relationship.
I think you're both at two different stages. I think Donald, this is kind of new for you because you're now intentionally dating and you're looking for, you know, what's next for you, while she is ready for marriage. She's looking for marriage. So I think those are two very you're not really aligning. I don't think it's gonna be easy for you to, meet up in the same path. Do you feel like you lot gave it a chance to, you both try to get to know each other in a way so that you can see where this goes, or do you feel like somebody checked out and there was nothing that can be done?
I'll speak on that. I think that I experienced enough in the conversations that we had, where it was like orange flags turned to red flags for me. And once I see enough of that, I think I just check out. And I think that goes back to like how I kind of like operate in general, especially when it comes to like dealing with men. I don't like in the past, I would have heard a lot of these things and I would have been like, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Now I'm like, nah, that don't sit right with me. Nah, that don't sit right with me. And
What
I
what
think,
what is it? What is it that you heard?
um, aside from the dating, not non-intentional dating, those types of things. I asked him on our first date about infidelity. He told me that he had done it before and it wasn't like an isolated incident. On the show, if it would have been me coming around the corner asking the questions and Arlette would have asked me, what are your deal breakers? I would have said infidelity. Like, I don't do people who, because I don't have the capacity to cheat. I've always been a person that if I am in a relationship, I'm talking to somebody, whatever the case may be, and I feel like I need to look outward in any kind of way, emotionally, physically, whatever, I'm out the door. I'm going to leave you right where you at because I'm not, something here isn't working because I've probably already addressed it and it hasn't fixed itself. I don't have the capacity to cheat. I've never understood the mindset of going outside of your relationship, right? So that being a deal breaker for me is a red, like that's a red flag off rip, regardless if you've done it once, twice, three times, four, right? That's just my philosophy, period. I think that was one of the first things. What else? I'm trying to think. I feel like like the whole like the dating, the not dating intentionally up until like you got into a certain point. Like I understand you got to go through your growing process, but again, I know I've never been that way, and I feel like the person that I don't want to be the guinea pig, right? I don't want to feel like a guinea pig. That is just it's just not it for me. Also, he said something to me that rubbed me the wrong way. He sent me some text messages at first, and then he sent me a voice note to follow up, and in all of these messages the same message was being delivered to me, and it was more so like the text message said something around the lines of like, you know that you're on probation, right? And then it was like, oh, this is a job interview, blah blah blah, right? And you could tell it was like, it's like trying to be joking, but like also like you saying this, it has like some type of validity to it. So then when it was followed up with a voice note saying like, hey, like, it's been 36. Like he had called me one night. I wasn't feeling good. I went to sleep early, whatever the case may be. I texted him the next day or sent him a voice note, whatever, to let him know, hey, wasn't feeling good, went to bed. Um, Let me know when you want me to call you back, because he had already told me that phone calls was last on his list of ways to communicate. So I said specifically, let me know when you want me to call you again. We can figure out, we can talk, have time to talk. We spoke within those couple of days in between time before I got this next message, and it wasn't like I said that and then we weren't speaking, right? We still were communicating. We knew what was going on in each other's days, voice notes, text message, back and forth. In the middle of the day, a day or two later, I get a message saying, you on probation. This is a job interview. And I called you and it's been 24, 36 hours and I ain't heard nothing from you. You haven't called me back. And it was like, and I was gonna come, and I was thinking about coming to see you next week, but he said it in like this broken Spanish thing, so I'm trying to remember like exactly what he said. Basically, he was going to try to come see me, and then but how I act this week is going to be contingent on how whether or not he coming next week, even though we hadn't had no conversations specifically about when we can coordinate a time to meet up. So that rubbed me wrong in a bunch of different ways. I was just completely thrown off. We had dialogue back and forth about it up until he was, and then he eventually sent me a message saying, after thinking about it, like I understand where I was wrong and how it came off, and I was just joking and blah blah blah. But it was like I didn't feel that. Like I said, all jokes contain some true shit. So I'm not. I hear you. Like I hear your delivery might be like I'm joking, but you said it to me four different times in four different ways.
Yeah.
So
So Donald, I know, like she just
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
said
go ahead.
it like in a joking manner, but was there some truth behind some of those messages and voice notes you were sending?
So yeah, there's a lot to clarify. One,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like the second she hopped in my car, once we got back from the studio, I told her, listen, I joke around a lot. Like I'm jokey person. Like I said on the show, it's pretty serious. So off air, I joke around a lot. I can 100% see the way I articulate it and me joking, because she had told me at some point when we were talking, like, she speaks Spanish a little bit, like, or I think, no, actually good. She speaks Spanish. So I said the voice note in a joking way, but I could 100% look back on it. I look at it, I'm like, damn, that does come across as passive aggressive. So I apologize for that. I told her, like, yeah, my bad. She's like, oh, yeah, it's a red flag because it reminds me of X, Y, and Z, whatever, not getting into all that. But I was like, that wasn't my intent. But yes, can you say that there's a certain truth to it? Yeah, there's a truth. Like, we're still getting to know each other. You know, you have to match each other's energies in terms of communication and stuff. However, it wasn't like, I almost feel like she's dragging it. And when I feel like like, you would have thought I was on some weirdo, like I cursed her out or raised my voice. Or I'm like, yo, listen, listen, I didn't say that's what you said. I'm just saying you would have thought, like, all I was like, like I said, some broken Spanish. I don't even remember. I'm mixing Spanish and English. Like, yo, listen, you're on a job interview here. Like, don't forget, like, you're on probation. Like I said, joke, but not thinking nothing of it. Like, I feel like with anybody else that would have just kept flowing it, she would either joke back in Spanish or like, what do you mean? Like, listen, my resume is valid. Like, just however the case, man, I'm thinking it's just gonna flow. Rub her the wrong way. When I see she was really tired, I said, all right, listen, right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm wrong for that. I apologize. I said, yo, listen, sorry about that. That's not my intent. I thought we would keep it moving. But the core issue of it all is not that. It's not that. Off the beginning, I feel like I said, she did not, the wall was there. She might not think it was, but the wall was there from day one, from the minute we was in the car on the way to the first spot of the dating. Like, she was, it was even a series of questions. There's even one time she hit me up. She was like, she was asking me a question about a picture that was posted on my Instagram from like 2017. And I find that kind of odd. And I told her that. I was like, yo, listen, it's my friend who passed away. You can shake your hell you want. I'm not capping. I was, it's my friend who passed away. One, she never said my condolences. And which is wild to me. Two, she just got into a series of questions. Like, it was like, Shorty made up her mind from the beginning. She should have just popped the minute I came off the corner. She should have just popped. She should have just popped, and would have saved everybody time and energy and all that. Like, it's nothing against her. She's not a bad person. I could talk about all her positives, which is many, but she did not give it a fair shot. You know, even with that joke or what I said wouldn't have been nail in a coffin or a deal breaker with another straight. Now, like I said, if I came out my face, yelled at her, cursed her out, blew up her phone, different. But that joke was not sufficient for things to keep, because it was trending down before that, but that made it trend down even faster. But the minute, like, our first date, like, when I was in the car, we was driving, I don't know how we got on that topic, because she's asking me my previous relationship and stuff like that, but I don't remember what came first or after. Some point, she discloses the information. She's like, she's like, you're not really my type. And I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, yeah, I usually type or preference. It's one of those words she used because I don't want to misquote her. She's like, my type is usually like light skin or brown skin. And I'm like, okay, cool. But listen, I'm going to get darker in the summer. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm never going to be light skin or brown skin. There's nothing wrong with that. I have my homeboy that I came with on the show. He was light skin. Like, I throw you up the alley hoop. You feel me? Like, I'm not that way. Like, there's no issue. You have your preference. But in hindsight, as she started speaking and saying more things it was like I said, I never really had she came in the show, had the experience. The experience was dope, but she didn't really go in there with the mindset that she's talking about, like, oh, listen, I want to get married. She didn't go there with that mindset. She reminded me once a day, if not every other day, listen, I don't need no, you know what? I don't need nobody. I don't need, like, more than once. Like, I'm just like, how's that inviting energy? How am I going to want to do certain things when you constantly telling me that? I don't need it. I don't. Listen, the first time I see a man do this, and I'm just like, all right, like, but I want to do my due diligence on my end because I didn't want to seem like I'm mad, picky, shallow, whatever. I was like, yeah, listen, I came this far. Let's see how things flow. But Shorty, in the back of her mind, already had it in my, like, I had to win her over. Like, put it better, I was swimming against the current the entire time, even well before the voice note. I was swimming against the current, and it's not something I've encountered with other ladies.
So you felt like you never had like an even shot or a chance?
Yeah. Absolutely not. Which is cool. It is what it is. Like, it's not no hard feelings, but that's 100% how I felt. as time advanced and more signs was like, because like I said, even that comment, most people, some dudes would have packed it up. I still was like, let me just flow with the date. Like, listen, let's just see how things go. But as time progressed and stuff like that, somebody's really rocking with you is different. When they not rocking with you, is you get more resistive energy.
I
Did
would
you?
love to respond to that,
Go
but
ahead.
go ahead. I'm gonna let the host do their thing. I'm gonna let the host do their thing.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask, did you both like each other?
What do you mean?
Did you
Like,
like him? Because you said that's
I
not
mean, she said
that's
that wasn't her
that,
usual
that, that
type.
that's not
oh
your. But
yeah, all that. So that's one of the first things I wanted to touch on. When we walked out into the hallway after the show, after we matched, right? I said, I will say, and we were sitting on the couch. I said, I will say, I said, you're not something my usual like type, somebody I would actually go for. I said, but I said, you're not unattractive. I find you attractive. And I said, but I said, I will say that you're not, because the first thing that I told him, I said, I did, and I think I said this when you were out there, BM, that I was like, I'm not, the hair was threw me off. When I seen his hair, and I was like, I'm trying not to be like that person, because like those types of things can change, right? If I thought that he wasn't attractive, I would have popped the balloon. I would have found a reason to pop the balloon, right? So I just told him, I said, but I think me being honest about that specifically rubbed him the wrong way. I think immediately I was like, typically I'll go for X, Y, and Z. This is what I would particularly gravitate towards. But I said, because you are attractive, that's why I didn't pop my balloon. So I think again, he talked about me dragging it. I feel like it was something, it may have been something that triggered him and like personally, right?
can you see what he's
So
saying though? Because when a woman says that to a man, then that's basically saying that like the man is feeling, what's the point of me trying if I'm not, if I'm not your type?
but I told him in that moment, like, because it's just like when anybody else sees somebody like, oh, not like my usual type, but like surprisingly, I'm attracted to this person. Like I wouldn't like necessarily go for this person on a like going out like, oh look, oh hey, like what's up, but if I didn't pop your balloon and I'm sitting here talking to you, obviously I told you to your face, I find you attractive, but you're not my usual type.
But when you say that
I,
to a man,
mhm.
Donald, quote me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong. Did you feel like she wasn't into you when she said that?
Yeah, it doesn't strengthen her case. So yeah, I feel like yeah. I'm like, or it's like almost like nobody forced you. Like you could have popped. You feel me? Like that's what it feels like. Why'd you do this? And I'll get into that later. But y'all go ahead.
Okay, so already from the get go, this is already the ship is sinking because he's now thinking, okay, I have to try extra hard to win her over because I'm not her type. But then you get into conversations, and now you're hearing him say stuff about cheating and the stuff that is So you're checking out, like you're like, you know what, I'm not down for this. I feel like you're both just not compatible.
I gotta agree.
I agree too.
But I do want to make one other comment in response to what you said, Donald, because you said you made it seem like I went on your page and I just brought up something about the girl on your page, right? We were in conversation for a while, and during that conversation, and I asked you because we were talking about the interracial dating thing,
Yeah.
and I said because when I first followed you on Instagram, I didn't even go through your page.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked and I was like, well, I want to see what his posts look like because I'm sure you went through mine. But anyway, I went to see and it didn't have many posts, and then I seen the girl. And I was like, oh, who was that? Like, was that your ex that you dated or whatever? And he was like, oh no, that was a friend of that. I was like, oh okay, I'm sorry. Now you saying I didn't say my condolences. I said I'm sorry about that, but. Regardless, selective hearing. But yeah, so to me, I feel like you're trying to make me out to seem like I'm this non-compassionate, like mean, like person. Because everything that you're saying, like I'm like, whoa, you like I just brought it up randomly, and I'm like that wasn't random. We were in conversation about interracial dating. I said I did see this post on your page. Was that your ex? Did that or did that not happen?
Not exactly the way you put it, but like I said, I didn't use the word mean. I didn't use the word aggressive or anything like
No,
that.
no, no. I didn't say you
Yeah,
did, but
yeah,
there's connotations with the way that you've been presenting things, and that's why I need to make sure that I clear things up, because when nobody's there to actually witness it, besides me and you, unless we got it recorded
yeah,
or on in black and white, it's gonna be the way you present it and the way I present it.
yeah.
But even when you presented that specifically, it was like she just randomly brought up, oh, who's this? She didn't give me no condolences, and I'm like, that's not what happened.
To me, it was random. To me,
We
it was
were talking about interracial relationships, and the girl looked like she was a white woman. And I asked, and you said your ex was a white woman, and I said, was that your ex? And you were like, no, that was a friend of mine who I was really close with. And you gave me the whole story, and I said, okay, I'm sorry about that. And then we continued our conversation. That's what we were talking about.
yes, to me, the experience was a little different, but there's no point in
It's fine.
constantly going back and
You're
forth.
right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's moot. It's moot at this point.
If
yeah,
this is how your
exactly.
conversation was, I can see why you guys would be butting heads, because it seems like it's very hard for you both to agree on certain topics. Like there's a difference in so many in the stories you're saying, and you know, getting involved in a serious relationship is about understanding each other and getting what people are saying. And I think you both you never really you never got it started, did you?
Nah, listen,
Too many roadblocks before they could get there.
listen. Yeah,
I think that I gave it a fair shot. I really do. I really do. Because there's a lot of things that I would have cut people off for immediately, that like as soon as I heard it. And even the whole comment about, I constantly would say, I don't need this, I don't need this. I would just make that's more so like about the things that are my hard guesses and my hard knows, my
Mhm.
boundaries. It's like I'm not accepting X, Y, and Z.
All right.
listen.
Well,
If
oh, go ahead. You have
no, I'm about to
final
say.
thoughts, Donald?
Final thoughts is like I said, is a lot of cap in this, because if I feel cheating's a deal breaker, right? As a lady, cool. Right then and there, after that first date, hey, listen, I didn't know about that at the show. You cheated in the past. I look at once a cheater, always a cheater, like you said. Right then and there, that Sunday night, I'm clipping it. We're not talking no more. Like, listen, nothing against you. I just want to take the chance. She checked out probably around since then, but still tried to act like she didn't check out. But she did check out, because even something she said that night, like, we at the bar. Like, if you're really giving things a fair shot, so like you said, which you're not, we at the bar, and it was just a good vibe. And we in conversation. At some point, she literally brings up, I don't know if the drink had her feeling saucy or whatever. She brings up like for instance, she's like, I could have anybody in here, but like I'm not pressed. And I'm just like, who says that? Like, imagine y'all wouldn't even be where y'all are right now, husband and wife, if somebody said, like, you, who says that? So all these things are
Okay.
going into my mind, and then you saying this and that. No, you're not coming into, I don't know how the last time she dated post her actual relationship, but you're not going into something with a mindset like that and saying that you ready for marriage and stuff. You're not. And there was several other things. I'm not even going to get into the celebrity stuff. She know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to touch on that. But it's just several things, like, you never gave it a fair shot. You should have just removed yourself from the situation off rip. There was so many things. It wasn't just that post. It was just mad things. Like, I could go on forever. And I discovered something about her career, one of her careers, that I didn't know initially on the show, right? I'm not going to divulge that information. It's up to her if she wants to. But that, in conjunction with many things she said, I never had a shot. I never had a shot. Like, I never had a shot. It was no fair shot. I never had a shot. Should have just said
Okay.
everybody at the time and just let it flow and just let me do my thing.
They matched on the stage, went on a date that same night, and it still wasn't enough. He spent the whole time trying to pursue someone who never really gave him a real chance. She says she was being intentional, asking the right questions, protecting her peace. He says the walls were up before the date even started. And honestly, they're both probably right. Some people aren't incompatible because of what happened between them. They're incompatible because of what was already decided before anything even began. What do you think? Do you think Donald was just a little too extra with his jokes? Or was Adrian just too serious about everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes like these.